In some far-off place, many light years in space, I'll wait for you. Where human feet have never trod, where human eyes have never seen, I'll build a world of abstract dreams and wait for you. In tomorrow's realm, we'll take the helm of a new ship. Like the lash of a whip, we'll start on the way and safely journey to a new shore.
We begin the Sun Ra the Eternal Myth Revealed Volume 1 box set presentation with Sun Ra speaking of his early influences and seeing legendary blues women at the Frolic Theater in the early 1920s in Alabama.
When I was a baby in the cradle, I was listening to Fletcher Henson. I didn't know it. My people always had Bessie Smith, Clarence Smith. They was playing that for me all the time. I grew up with that. As a child, I didn't know what I was listening to, and later on, as I grew up, I came right back to my roots, you might say, and I can play the blues, too. Don't forget that. Yeah, that's where I saw Bessie Smith, Ethel Waters. That's where I saw all the greats, and Larry Steele. Every week, they changed shows, and every week, my family took me there. So I'm very well geared over into jazz. I mean the real jazz. Like I call it the wrong side of the railroad track jazz. That is where your real jazz came from, and that's what Fletcher Henson dealt with. He would go out looking for people. He always would pick out people who really had the talent, and he would develop them. Now, Duke was sophisticated, you see. Fletcher Henson came from the South.
Next, we focus on the blues vocal influence with Sarah Martin singing with the Clarence Williams Band for an excerpt of Hole in the Wall from 1928.
Somewhere in every town, a place where nighthawks hang around. It's dark and small, and they always call it down here at the hole in the wall.
Ethel Waters, Ma Rainey, Clarence Smith, Mamie Smith, I saw the whole black panorama of pure black culture. I call it that. And they were dealing with people, you see. Of course, now the educated people, like even at the school, I was going to high school there, they always played Guy Lombardi at the time for us when we went to the auditorium, or they played Jan Garber. They didn't play no jazz. So see, at that school, they were being righteous in society and all that. So I wouldn't have known nothing about jazz. I was going to all-black school. They didn't consider jazz as being decent, I suppose. So then all I learned myself, I investigated, and I chose things that were really suitable for me.
Next, we move to the early band arrangement influences, showcasing the wild and adventurous Baron Lee and the Mills Blue Rhythm Band, with an excerpt of Rhythm Spasm from 1932. Sun Ra discusses why he left Alabama in 1946.
First Band was not interested in commercial things. It was most unusual band. They weren't interested, and they never tried. They was quite content to stay in Birmingham, and so was I, because I was among friends, and I had a lot of offers. I didn't go nowhere, because I considered friends the most valuable asset people can have on the planet. Why should I leave my friends? So I stayed there, and everybody thought I would never leave. And I didn't leave until, according to the Cosmos, my last friend in Birmingham died, and I left because a member of the family told me, your last friend is dead. And the other members of the family said, you shouldn't say that to him. And the woman repeated, hear what I said, your last friend is dead. And I left. That's why I left Birmingham.
Upon traveling to Nashville, Tennessee in the spring of 1946, Sonny was hired by band leader Jumpin' Jimmy Jackson for a recording session with blues vocalist Wynonie Harris. On the session, Sonny played more barrelhouse boogie-woogie piano with that downright on the wrong side of the tracks gritty jump blues feel. Included is an excerpt of Dig This Boogie. In 1946, Sonny moved to Chicago and had earlier purchased an Ampex paper tape reel-to-reel tape deck. In 1948, he began recording himself on organ in an unknown church. Included is an excerpt of All the Things You Are. Sonny recalls working with Stuff Smith.
I was playing this trio. He liked what I was doing. Sometimes he'd sit at the piano and he'd say, no, I can't understand why the white race hasn't discovered you while they sleep. I can't understand. One day they'll listen. Coleman Hawkins came through. They're going to play together, so Stuff took me on with him. And all during the night, Coleman Hawkins would be watching my hands. He finally, something I was playing, he said, will you write that for me, please? So I wrote it out for him. Years later, the Baroness, I don't think she believed that I played with Coleman. So in the village gate, she really seemed going to embarrass me by asking right in front of Coleman, do you remember him? She put it like that. There's some more musicians in the room. Coleman Hawkins said, of course I remember him. He's the only one that ever wrote some music I couldn't play. I still got that music. It's written right, everything. I liked it so well. I told you to write out for me. You wrote it out. I haven't played it yet. Only song I ever seen, I couldn't play it.
The summer of 1948, Sonny had been working with violinist Stuff Smith and invited him to his apartment to rehearse and make a recording on his paper tape machine. Sonny's machine fascinated most musicians who saw and were recorded by it. From 1948, we have an excerpt of the only known recording with violinist Stuff Smith and Sun Ra together with Deep Purple. Also in December of 1948, the Red Saunders Orchestra was in the studio for a recording session for the Supreme label. Included is an excerpt of the Sun Ra arrangement on the Charlie Ventura composition, Synthesis. Pianist Mary Lou Williams would have a lasting effect on how Sun Ra composed, arranged, and played piano. Mary Lou Williams would be one of the first to examine the signs of the zodiac in music in 1945 with her Zodiac Suite. For this segment, we go to Town Hall, New York in 1945 for a live excerpt of the Mary Lou Williams composition Cancer, featuring tenor saxophonist Ben Webster. Next, we have Sun Ra playing his Mary Lou Williams influenced composition, I Got Some New Blues, from 1949. Sun Ra speaks highly of vocalist Billie Holiday.
She's doing something else, bending notes and everything. She wasn't singing on the beat all the time. Today's singers just start with this like the rhythm, bam, bam, and they start right on the beat. That is not really swing. Swing is intriguing and fascinating because of syncopation. And syncopation does not mean on the beat all the time. It's another story. And Billie Holiday sang that way. And she was surrounded by great musicians. They took care of her.
For this section, we examine Sun Ra as a vocalist singing a Billie Holiday-inspired version of Charlie Chaplin's composition, Smile.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. That's the time. You must keep on trying to smile. What's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Somebody loves you, I do, if you just smile.
In the late 1940s, Sonny led a trio with himself on piano and solo box, guitarist Leo Blevins, and bassist Wilbur Ware. For this segment, we present an excerpt of the Sun Ra Trio playing You Go to My Head at some unknown club in 1949. In the late 1940s, Sonny served as arranger for the Red Saunders Orchestra. By late 1950, Red Saunders would introduce Sonny to Laverne Baker, then known as Little Miss Sharecropper. Sun Ra wrote arrangements that helped Laverne shape the vocal sound that would follow her most of her career. From a 1950 Laverne Baker studio session with the Red Saunders Band for the national label, we have an excerpt of I Wanna Rock. Another vocalist Red Saunders introduced Sun Ra to was Joe Williams. Sonny utilized the same arranging mechanism he used with Laverne Baker to help Joe Williams create his sound. This sound would follow him way into his time as vocalist with the Count Basie Band, who also stayed true to the arrangement style of Sun Ra. For this segment, we have Joe Williams with the Red Saunders Orchestra from 1951 singing the stompin' jump blues number, Stop Pretty Baby Stop.
Stop, pretty baby, stop. Stop, pretty baby, stop. Stop, pretty baby, stop. 'Cause I wanna talk with thee. I wanna tell you pretty nothing. Despite how good you look to me, pretty baby, please stop. I wanna tell you pretty nothing. Despite how good you look to me. Oh yeah.
Also from this 1951 session with Joe Williams, we have the Red Saunders Orchestra performing a Sun Ra Jumpin' Jump Blues instrument arrangement on Boot 'Em Up. By 1952, Sonny had been steadily working with the Red Saunders Orchestra and was offered the opportunity to write an arrangement using children known as the Hambone Kids on the African American voice and hand clap song, Hambone. Working with the Hambone Kids jarred his interest in vocal coaching. Provided is an excerpt from the May 1952 recording session with the Hambone Kids and the composition, Ezekiel. In the late 1940s, the Afro-Cuban era was in full effect. Afro-Cuban jazz is a fusion of African musical roots with Cuban and African-American rhythms as one music. The pioneering and rhythmic influence of this new music would be founded and maintained by the likes of Cuban, Puerto Rican, and African-American performers like Machito, Miguelito Valdez, Desi Arnaz in the early 1940s, Chano Pozo, Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Parker, and so many others. In 1947, it would be Cuban bandleader Perez Prado who would catch the ear of Sun Ra with his adventurous rhythmic and percussive arrangements that emphasized the brass and reed section. Provided is an excerpt of Perez Prado and the Afro-Cuban influence with the composition Con Toma from 1947. Next, we move to January of 1953 to examine the Perez Prado influence on the Red Saunders Orchestra. We have the Sun Ra Afro-Cuban arrangement on Sun Ra's composition, Mambo and Trumpet.